Okay, in this video, we're going to factor the following expression, and we're going to use method 2, AC plus grouping. In the description box of this video, I have a playlist where I cover different methods, including AC plus grouping, and I go over them in a little bit more detail. And so let's begin. So here I'm going to draw my x. This piece is going to be A times C, and this piece is going to be our B term. Now, our A term is the coefficient with x squared, so our A term is going to be 3. And our C term is the constant, so negative 10. And our B term is the coefficient for x, so that's negative 1. So there's no number in front, so we know the number in front is 1. And 3 times negative 10 will give us negative 30. So at this point, we think to ourselves, what two numbers multiply to give us negative 30, but add to give us negative 1? So initially, you might be thinking of ways to get 30. 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6, and so on. But once you narrow it down, it's going to be negative 6 and 5, and we can try it. Negative 6 times 5 is negative 30, and negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. And so our next step is to rewrite. So we have 3x squared. We'll say plus parentheses. Instead of saying negative 1x, I'm going to say negative 6x plus 5. And instead of saying negative 1x, I'm going to say negative 6x plus 5x. They're equivalent. Close parentheses. Keep this piece the same, negative 10. Alright, now we're about to see the grouping step. So we're going to group the first two pieces and the last two pieces. So we have 3x squared minus 6x. In between, put a plus sign, parentheses, 5x minus 10. Now we're going to do the greatest common factor between these two pieces. They both have an x, so we can take out an x. And this is a 3, this is a 6, so the greatest common factor would be a 3. You can think about it this way. What's the biggest number I could divide both by and get a whole number? And that's going to be 3. So now we'll do our parentheses. 3x times what gives you 3x squared? That's going to be x. 3x times what is negative 6x? That's going to be negative 2. And just to double check, 3x times x, 3x squared. 3x times negative 2, negative 6x. Now we'll do the same thing for these two pieces. Now this piece doesn't have an x, so we can't take out an x. So we're thinking, what's the biggest number I could divide both by and get a whole number? And that's going to be 5. So I'll put plus 5, parentheses, 5 times what is 5x, so x. 5 times what is negative 10, so negative 2. And we see something identical, x minus 2, x minus 2. Because it's identical, we copy it one time, x minus 2, close parentheses. Then we do another parentheses, I call it the leftovers, 3x plus 5, 3x plus 5. And this right here is our final answer. But it's always a good idea to check. X times 3x is 3x squared, it matches. X times 5 is 5x. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. And 5x minus 6x is negative 1x. Lastly, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. And so that's pretty much it. If you want more practice, check out the description box for more videos.